Like Martin Luther King Jr. once said, usually third time's a charm, but sometimes it's the fourth where shit really goes down. In 2022, the Phillies snuck into October for the first time in 11 years. Osama bin Laden had barely been killed the last time a Phillies playoff team existed. Well, not anymore, and they went a lot further than I think anyone would have expected, going all the way to the World Series and falling just short in the end. Yordan Alvarez said, "Screw you, yada yada yada, season over." And every year since, the Phillies have gotten better and won more games in the regular season, yet have at the same time gotten worse and taken a step back in the postseason. After losing in the World Series in 22, they lose in the NLCS in 2023, the second to final round, then the NLDS in 2024, the first round, so third time was not a charm. But that begs the question, after the way another even more dominant regular season has gone for the Phillies, is this team, the 2025 Phillies, are they finally the one? And no, Martin Luther King Jr. did not say that. So thank you for being here. Subscribed or not. And if you haven't joined the 49% Elite Humans, consider hitting that button if you enjoy the videos. As wow, did the NL East Division race flip upside down quick. The fact that I genuinely thought the Mets would win it, okay, it obviously looks dumb in hindsight now, but blame the team for forgetting how to win, not me. It's a combination of them being so bad and the Phillies looking like a team on a mission. Now, I mentioned in my last Phillies video how on paper, this is actually the weakest one of the last 4 years. The offense, although still obviously really good, has more holes, and so does the pitching. But a certain someone has turned it up a notch this year. On the offense, Kyle Schwarber, who's been good his entire time in Philly, but it's to another level this year. 53 home runs. He leads the National League. He leads all of baseball in RBIs with almost 130 of them. Trey Turner is quietly putting up an awesome season. I feel like nobody's talking about him, but he leads the National League in hits and batting average. Bryce Harper has more or less been Bryce Harper. So those are three of the most highly paid hitters on the team, and they've been awesome. Great. And there's also some other more under the radar, but still solid hitters too, like the homeless dude on the Brandon Marsh, who's been solid pretty much all year. Max Kepler's been on fire after struggling most of the year. They traded for Harrison Bader, who after starting off colder than Mr. Freeze himself, has turned into Barry Bonds if he bleached his skin, was 3 inches shorter, Jewish, and decided to hit righty for some reason just because he got bored or whatever. The pitching, although good, is also another thing to keep an eye on because of multiple things. Their best pitcher, Zach Wheeler, is out for the year, and Jose Alvarado, one of their strong bullpen options, is ineligible for the postseason because, let's just say he decided Flintstones gummies weren't making him strong enough. But overall, the Phillies are where they're at for a reason. But they're also making certain statements I feel like we didn't get from them a year ago, at least not as in your face like these ones have. To start the month of September, the Phillies rolled into Milwaukee to take on what's been the best team in baseball. And it didn't take very long to show why they're the best team in baseball. Jacob Mizorowski on the mound, he strikes out Kyle Schwarber and throws a scoreless first inning before Bryce with an eye Terang wastes zero time and treats this baseball like it called his mother a hoe, 1-0. Couple batters later, William Contreras hits a double. Then Christian Yelich walks. Couple batters after that, Blake Perkins drives them both home. It's 3-0. Make that 4-0. Another leadoff home run, this time by Caleb Durbin in the second, with this coming after Mizorowski threw another scoreless inning, striking out both Bader and Kepler. Now, there's some more context to this. I feel like that's important. When Jacob Mizorowski was selected to the All-Star game, considering he was in the league for about 5 minutes at the time of that selection, yeah, it was controversial. Like I've said before, I'm happy for the guy, but it definitely should have been someone like Christopher Sanchez, who actually had a full first half of all-star level production. The Phillies definitely thought this. They were definitely not happy, and the Phillies front office / ownership agreed to pay Sanchez an all-star bonus anyway, which was deserved. He's been great. But so far in this game, it was almost as if Mizorowski was sending a message that he deserves it too. We're in the 4th inning now. He strikes out Schwarber again. Bryce with a Y, Harper up to the plate. Mizorowski throws a first pitch to 101 mile-an-hour fastball. Harper couldn't give less of a damn, sending it back the same speed and 406 feet deep for a home run. Brewers still had control of this game, though. They're knocking Taijuan Walker around. Another run scores in the 4th. It's 5-1. Well, here come the Phillies. Leadoff walk, Max Kepler base hit, and Mundo Sosa. 2 batters later, Trey Turner sends this first pitch slider and a right for a 2-run triple. Out goes Mizorowski, in comes the Brewer bullpen, who the Phillies feasted off of. Most notably, Barry Bonds, if he bleached his skin, was 3 inches shorter, Jewish, and decided to hit righty for some reason just because he got bored or whatever. Bader hits an RBI double in the 6th. Phillies hit 2 straight sacrifice flies for 2 more runs. They take the lead. Bottom of the inning, runners on the corners. Jackson Trejo hits a grounder right at Bryson Bryson Stott at second for the third. Whoops, tie game. This has turned into a slugfest. And thankfully for Stott, he makes up for the error after Jewish right-handed White Bonds drives home another run. It's 8-6 Phillies. The craziness refuses to end. 40-year-old David Robertson in the game out of the Phillies bullpen. And it looks like he's already getting forgetful in his old age, because after striking out the first two hitters of the 8th inning, he forgets that you're supposed to get hitters out in order to, win games. Giving up a base hit to William Contreras, sandwiched in between walks to Jackson Chourio and Christian Yelich. Then Isaac Collins, great first name, takes the first pitch he sees through the glove of Trey Turner for a 2-run single. That's 4 straight runners reaching after 2 strikeouts to start the inning. Ouch. Well, thankfully it wasn't 5, and also thankfully they have the umpires on their side. Well, at least according to Brewers manager Pat Murphy. After Kyle Schwarber walked, Bryce with a Y Harper is up. He checks his swing on this 1-2 pitch, and Murphy thinks the umpires aren't being fair. He says if it's anyone else at the plate, they call that strike 3. Well, it didn't end up mattering. Harper strikes out on the next pitch anyway. Next up, JT Realmuto. He works a 2-2 count. Abner Uribe throws a slider way out in the dirt. He lays off of it. He goes with the exact same game plan on 3-2, and this time Realmuto almost swings, but doesn't according to the umpire, but does according to Pat Murphy, who gets tossed. Which, ironically, he did say when Harper was up that if it was anyone else, they call that strike 3. And JT Realmuto, last I checked, isn't Bryce Harper, and they called this a ball too. So at this point, he's just saying, you guys love the Phillies. He thinks the umpires are protecting the established Phillies hitters or whatever. Were they? Probably not. No, they were not. Even though Realmuto kind of did go here. It's very quick in the moment and hard for the umpire to make the right call. And the Phillies took advantage of this. The caveman, Marsh smacks this pitch into right for the lead. Then Bader doesn't even hit this well, but everything's falling for him right now. So this one does too. 10-8 Phillies. And you'd think the way this game was going, the Brewers would make it interesting, but no. In comes Joan Duran. He locks it down. Trey Turner with a great play, also by Harper at first. Duran closes out a wild game, and he does the same for a much lesser crazy game, but another big win 3 days later. The first game of this series, both teams combined for 18 runs. The third game, both teams combined for 2 runs, both of them going to the Phillies, while Ranger Suarez and the Philly bullpen shut the Brewers out. They lost the second game of this series, so to win this one, to win the series, was big on its own, but it also shows you that, they're able to win a slugfest, and then they're able to win the exact opposite type of game for the finale, which I think that's kind of cool. It kind of shows you that they can win really any type of game. And since that series, they haven't slowed down, taking 2 of 3 from the Marlins, the series that birthed the now infamous Phillies Karen. Next up, the series that pretty much locked the 2025 Mets in a cage with the key thrown away, clean sweeping them in 4 games before taking 2 from the Royals. And next up, off to LA. Phillies versus Dodgers, or depending on who you ask, Hitler v. Stalin. Now, if the Phillies win this game, they officially clinch the NL East division title. And it's the way the game went exactly that may very well be a preview for the playoffs. The Dodgers were having a bullpen game, so Anthony Banda in to start this game. Well, lefty, righty, starter, reliever, white, black, Latin, Asian mix, doesn't matter who's on the mound for Kyle Schwarber. He's going deep either way. 1-0 Phillies. You just poke this one, and it still goes out. But that was it for a while. The Dodger bullpen kept the Phillies offense quiet for a long time. Meanwhile, the Dodgers do enough off of Ranger Suarez. Andy Pages hits a leadoff double in the 3rd inning. Chucky Robinson comes up. Who? Yes, that's what happens when your starting and backup catcher both get hurt. You start having dudes with names that sound fake pop up. How much you want to bet multiple people in Dodger Stadium were like, is he related to Jackie Robinson? He lays down a good bunt to get Pages to 3rd, and Suarez makes this ridiculous play to get Chucky at 1st. Mookie hits a sac fly to tie the game. Max Muncy sends this ball into the pavilion in the 5th. The other Max, out in right field, he almost grabs it. Wow, amazing attempt. Then deja vu from the 3rd inning in the 5th. Andy Pages smacks a double. Next up, Chucky Robinson. He bunts again right at Suarez, who instead of throwing out Chucky again, gets Pages out at 3rd for the out. Okay, great. Well, then Shohei hits this down the right field line for a double. Chucky gets to 3rd and scores on another sac fly by Betts. Mookie drives home Chucky. I had a lot of fun saying that. I hope Chuck sticks around. Well, it's 3-1 Dodgers. They haven't done jack since that Schwarber homer. Well, until Otto Kemp said, here you go. Ground rule double. He moves over on this grounder by Kepler and scores on this Bryson Stott single. LA hadn't seen nothing yet. Up comes Weston Wilson. My God, we have Chucky Robinson and Weston Wilson. This is awesome. Wilson sends this 93-mile-an-hour fastball back out at 109 miles an hour and out for a 2-run shot. Just like that, Phillies back on top. Orion Kerkering in the game. Michael Conforto, sit down. Shohei Ohtani, same thing. He looks at strike three. Shohei respectfully, in the most polite way, disagrees. Kerkering pumps in 98 to Mookie, strike one, goes back with 98, and this time Mookie's ready. Game-tying home run. Mookie stays on fire. This game's going crazy. He gets that seed dumped all over his face. Go to the 8th inning. So it's the under-the-radar guys who got things done in the 7th. The Otto Lopez's, the Bryson Stotts, the Weston Wilsons of the world. Well, now time for the big name, Bryce Harper, sending this pitch almost at the catcher's head out for a go-ahead home run. Bam, just like that, Phillies back on top. Nicolas Cage comes in and gets the job done. He strikes out Freddie Freeman, strikes out Alex Call, 1-2-3, 8th inning. Phillies are 3 outs away from winning their division, and in comes Joan Duran. Max Muncy goes down. Next up, Andy Pages, swing and a miss. Ugly swing at 99 in the dirt. Then he fouls away a curveball, so he's quickly down 0-2 against Duran. In other words, he's screwed. And by he, I mean this baseball.
Or she.
Duran makes a mistake and leaves this one up for Pages to obliterate. Tie game. Bro wanted nothing to do with Shohei, which is the smart thing to do. Even after getting ahead of him on a first pitch fastball he swings and misses at, Duran's like, I am just going to throw as hard as I can and nowhere in the zone and pray for the best. Well, you walks him. Then watch this. It's a 1-2 count on Mookie, and this pitch is clearly a strike, but it's called a ball. Meanwhile, Shohei steals second. And Real Muto didn't even bother throwing down because he figured it was strike three, which it was, but he caught it halfway standing up, so it was hard for the umpire to tell. He kind of screwed himself there, even though the umpire objectively made the wrong call. And while watching this, I was just imagining the umpire pissing himself, praying Mookie strikes out or something, because that would have been a rough look. Like, I'm sure he knows he kind of effed up that call. Well, very next pitch, he pops out to center, so it doesn't matter. On to extras we go. Schwarber pops out. They put Harper on first to avoid pitching to him, while also setting up a potential double play that gets erased anyway. After Harper and Bader steal second and third. With 2 strikes, Realmuto does his job by putting the ball in play, putting the ball in the air. Phillies take a 1-run lead, and yeah, there's no way this game was just going to end without some more stress in the bottom of the 10th. Ben Rordvit, the other backup catcher, the Dodgers, that I don't think anyone knew existed before this year. He tries to bunt Mookie over to third and almost astronomically screws up. Thankfully for him, Realmuto drops this. He then bunts another one foul, so now he has to swing. And hey, credit to him, he got the job done. He gets Mookie over to third on this grounder. I feel like Chuck would have, roped a double. Missed opportunity to not have Chucky driving Mookie, but whatever. Phillies do exactly what the Dodgers did to Harper, now to Freddie Freeman. They put him on first before Alex Call works a really nice at-bat to work a walk, which loads the bases. So up comes Miguel Rojas, who pops up on the first pitch. Stott makes this way more interesting than it maybe needed to be. And honestly, for the Dodgers, considering Miggy hits so many ground balls, this low-key was a relief, but still, of course, not great. Now 2 outs, so you got to get a hit or walk for this to continue. Up comes Max Muncy, who immediately goes down 0-2, and Robertson just goes with his curveball from there. First one, Muncy lays off of. Second one, he checks his swing, and the Phillies are pissed. And this is weird because at first, on one angle, like this one, it looks like he did go, but on this angle, it looks like he did hold up. I don't know. I think he did go, honestly. The Phillies are like, even these kids behind home plate are like, what are we doing? Another controversial call goes the Dodgers' way. Robertson 6 with the curveball. For the 3rd straight pitch, throws it for a strike this time. Muncy hits it, and it's right at Harper for out number 3. And Muncy, wiped out, too. So, yeah, ball game over. Phillies officially clinched the division for the 2nd year in a row. And obviously, considering how the last 3 years have gone, Phillies fans and their players can be far from comfortable. But can this finally be the year? Is this finally where they'll break through? Not having Zach Wheeler hurts a lot. That really sucks. But I think some of these recent games against some of the best teams in baseball show that they're ready to go. But especially with baseball, it's never that simple. Only really time will tell if the 4th time's a charm. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.